So we're going to talk a little bit about the official results that are actually turned out by the county, and this actually connects quite a bit with some of the stuff that Dr. Shiva was talking about. So from a definition standpoint, we have the official canvas. The official canvas is the official certified results that are put out by the county. It has the tallies of votes per candidate, per precinct, and provisional. It tells what the turnout was for a given precinct and all of that information. We also have what's called, here in Maricopa County, they call it the VM55 file, or the final voted file. It is a list of every single person that showed up to vote. And that's counted both for in-person, whether it's early voting in person or whether it's mail-in, and all of those are kept track of separately.
Yes,
so we have a number of all those different categories of who showed up to vote on any given day. We then have the VM34 full voter file. This is also referred to as say, your voter rolls. This is a list of everybody who should be eligible to vote. And the county in Maricopa seems to make these available roughly on a monthly basis, so that the full voter rolls. So that is your theoretical full list of everyone that may be able to, may show up to vote on at a given election.
Theoretically.
Then we have our EV32 files, or EV32 early voting.
I hope you're enjoying all this tech speak, by the way. It's very fancy.
Every single time
yes, that is the number one cyber ninja talking.
Ballot is sent, it's supposed to have an entry in an EV32 file that corresponds with that mail-in ballot that's sent out. Likewise, we have an EV33 file, which is when any type of early vote is returned. Now, this both includes when a mail-in ballot is received and an in-person, when someone comes and votes in person.
There you go. So let me be abundantly clear, right again. Every time I've told you that they talk about mail-in ballots, or they talk about early voting and why some of them don't look like everyone else, and they flip out about that, and why they've been talking about that a bunch, that's because a bunch of them got returned in person. Early voting is done by mail or in person. Your ballot is the same in both cases.
EV33 includes both of those.
I can play this at 1.5 speed. It's not a bad idea.
I remember at the hearing that we had a while ago, we had mentioned that the EV32s do not match the EV33s. We were doing a quick analysis in order to justify canvassing, and there were 74,000 that were off. The vast majority of those 74,000 were from early voting in person.
Have I not? I mean, I give and I give and I give. And do you not realize the quality of the intellect that is happening here on this screen, and that has been happening here over the last year and change as I've done this show? How many times have I told you guys this? How many times? And I don't know why more people don't bring this up when they're talking about this nonsense on the MSM, right? This is not difficult. This is so ridiculous. What did I tell you? Listen to this dickhead. This is exactly what I told you they would find. This is exactly what when Mike Lindell was doing his movie and he's making up all this shit, and they're like, there's this weird discrepancy between the two. Listen.
4,000 that were off. The vast majority of those 74,000 were from early voting in person, and that is why there was not an EV32 associated with it.
You're welcome. That's all I want to say. I just feel like there's, for two things. One, being right, and it helps. But also, can you please trust me in the future when everybody's all wound up and they're like, but the world is going to crash, and what if they blah? They're not. They're not. If I tell you they're not, they're not. This is so, I mean, nailed it again. I'm just, so I hope this cheers you up some, that you are in the right place, and you have been watching the right show, and you have been listening to the right person. And I find a particular amount of joy in the fact that I am proven correct again on this particular point, which is used the most often about mail-in voting and early voting and this discrepancy. And we talked about this with Wisconsin, and Wisconsin calls all early voting all mail-in voting early voting. It's the same overlap. So if you walk in person and you never got a mail-in ballot, when you fill out the thing, it says that you did. It says you requested a mail-in ballot. The only difference was you were standing right there. They handed you one. There was no envelope. You handed it right back. It's the same thing that happens in Arizona, in all these places. It's early voting no matter what, but everybody calls early voting mail-in voting in terms of, these other, like in Wisconsin and in Arizona in some cases. Because you can you can actually request it, and they technically are just giving you your mail-in ballot right there. That's why you sit and wait for a minute, because they print it up for you, because it's assigned to your voter roll. Can I just play that part again? Because I like being that right that often.
And there were 74,000 that were off. The vast majority of those 74,000 were from early voting in person. And that is why there was not an EV32 associated with it. We have this clear.
Just how? Oh, all right. Anyways, I just need you guys to recognize that I am not wasting your time, and I never would. This feels particularly good.
A report as well. That was not a purposeful discrepancy. It was just something that was not immediately clear at that point.
Oh, no, it wasn't immediately clear? You know when it would have been immediately clear? If you looked at the actual voting guidelines for the state of Arizona, which are available on their website, and they would show you that distinction is a distinction without a difference. And then you could have gone, oh, that's probably a distinction without a difference. We should look that up. Oh, yeah, it's a distinction without a difference. Oh, shit. And it wouldn't be a big deal. This would, in any other election situation, this would be nothing. But a lot of these Arizona lunatics are literally hanging on that particular number, the 74,000 discrepancy of the unknown blah, 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 these mail-in ballots that were sent out but never returned. How many times did we hear that shit? From Rudy Giuliani, from Trump himself? In Arizona, these ballots went out, never went out but came back. They were received before they were mailed, right? 74,000, that's way more than the difference that we need. That's exactly what they've been saying the whole goddamn time. And what did I tell you it was? And what did it turn out to be? And what is the cyber ninja having to admit in front of the Arizona State Senate?